everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. Want to welcome you to the June 1st, 2019 Vinyl Treasure Show. Glad you can join Johnny G on this beautiful day. Actually, it was a little warm. It was like 80 degrees. And it was, I don't know, I went to get a haircut. I looked good for the camera, I think. I had to mail a record back. Wasn't happy with the condition. But anyway, I'm here for the next 2 hours. Sit back, got some cool 45s and 78s out of my collection. We decided to open up tonight's 50s edition, probably the biggest hit you're going to hear tonight, with a Mr. Preston Epps. He recently passed away May 9th of 2019 from natural causes. He was 88 years old. He was discovered by California disc jockey Art LeBeau, who signed Epps to his original sound record label. Just heard his biggest hit was number 16 on Cashbox, number 14 on Billboard, the first of 4 on original sound. Bongo Rock is the name of that one, May 1959 release. I remember hearing that the first time on an Oldies But Goodies album. I forget, probably the first volume or second volume. My aunt bought all the volumes. At the time, I think they were, when she was buying them, there were like 8 or 9 volumes at that time. But I think they went on to do in the 20s or so. There's a whole bunch. But anyway, I like the bongos. That's a cool 45 to open up with. Well, enough of my babbling here. We're going to play 78s and 45s for, at least I got 10 78s. We're going to start it off here, and it's a flip side from the last 50s edition on Bess Berman's Apollo record label. I featured Billy Austin and the Hearts, the group out of Brooklyn, New York. I played the ballad side, Night Has Come. A lot of the old-time collectors, they love that song. But we're going to give a listen to the up-tempo jump side, and I'm featuring it on a white promo 78. This one way back December 1952. Billy Austin and the Hearts on Apollo, and their tune called Angel Baby.
Yes, you like nature. Every time I look at you. Well, I wonder, pretty baby, who can your love be? Many men want to be fine as you can be. Yes, many men want to be
Last War and got us. Wow, you hear that at the end of that? That's a definite cool rocker from December 1952. That's a cool tune there. Billy Austin and the Hearts. Angel Baby is the name of that one. Apollo 78, a promo 78 on that one. And I would love to have the 45 of that. I really would, but I've never seen a copy. I understand it only comes out on red vinyl. And I know some guys that had that record. I wish I did. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening spinning original vinyl 45s out of my collection from 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies. Now this next group backed up Vic Donna on two of his singles that he did for Thomas Robinson's Atlas record label, but prior to that, the group had their own releases on the Atlas label. Now, the members were from the Newark and Elizabeth, New Jersey area. Now, here is their debut single, and this one is led by the bass of the group, Willie Curry, with Gerald Highsmith doing the baritone second lead. Let's go to April of 1956. These are the Parakeets. I think they're called the Parakeets vocal group on this 45. It's on Atlas Records, and the name of the tune is called The Rain Starts to Fall.
When the rain starts to fall, just call me on the phone. Tell me that you love me, and I'll be on my way home. When you see the lightning and the heavens open wide, tell me that you love me, dear, I'll be there by your side. Well, as the rain was falling, I was hearing calling. Tell me, why did we part? Now the rain has fallen, I'm still hearing calling. Well, darling, don't break my heart. Well, the stars told me, my darling, we'll be together again. Let bygones be forgotten, dear, just phone and tell me when. Break my heart. Well, the stars told me, my darling, we'll be together again. Let bygones be forgotten, dear, just phone and tell me when. Please tell me when.
April 1956 release there for the Parakeets. Parakeets on the Atlas record label. The Rain Starts to Fall. Had a lot of rain last week. I couldn't go out for my walk. Couldn't do that. It was terrible weather. Friday was pretty nice, a little warm, but anyway, the weather's getting nice. And the first time I heard that song was on, those best of Relic LPs, the best of, it was Atlas Angletone. The only thing I had a problem with those LPs, there were too many cuts and the grooves were way too tight because they got like 16 songs on one side. They got to make room for that. So the sound quality really wasn't the greatest, unfortunately, but got to hear a lot of unreleased material on those Relics LPs. But that's when I first heard that, and probably the Time Capsule show. They played that record too. Johnny G here for Saturday evening spinning 45s. We go back to the 78s, and on the last 50s edition, I played a 78 by the Magic Tones. They were from the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area. I featured the jump side of their first release on Sid Nathan's King label. It was called Good Googa Mooga. Now, the flip is a tremendous ballad. Want to send this one out to both George Tompkins and Joe Marchesani. Here are the Magic Tones. Joe Reed is on lead. This one from September 1953, the Magic Tones on King. It's called When I Kneel Down to Pray.
When I kneel down to pray at the close of each day, I ask the good Lord to forgive me for the things I've done to you. For as long as I live, I'll ask Him to forgive. For if God can forgive me, why can't you? As long as there's a tree, as long as there's a me, you know I'll be praying for you. As long as there's a sky, as long as birdies fly, I'll be so faithful and true. When I kneel down to pray, my heart so full of heartache. But if God can forgive me, why can't you?
September 1953 release there, the Magic Tones. Magic Tones on the King label. Sounds much better on, I have the 45, but it sounds really nice on that Mint 78. King 78 there. Joe Reed on lead, When I Kneel Down to Pray, the first of two for the Magic Tones on the King record label. We continue here on the Vinytreasure Show, and it was saddened to hear the passing of Dexter Tisby, original member of the Penguins, tenor member of the Penguins, died sometime this week at the age of 84, but he did lead on a number of the Penguins' sides, and here's one side of their first Mercury release. After they left Dutone Records, they felt that Dootsy Williams was really not giving them their due on the royalties, so they left. They met up with Buck Ram. They signed with Mercury Records, and it's the first of 7 they recorded on Mercury, and it's a song he co-wrote with the other two members of the group, other two members of the group, Cleve Duncan and Curtis Williams. So as we pay tribute to the late Dexter Tisby, this one from April of 55. Give a listen to the Penguins on Mercury and their tune called Don't Do It.
Wop do wa do wop, wop do wa do wop, wop do wa do wop. I'm in love with you, little girl. Please have mercy, don't say we're through. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Quit, don't do it, stop, don't do it, don't do it. Oh, baby, don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way. Oh, why don't you treat me like I do you? Don't take your love, I'll be blue. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Quit, don't do it, stop, don't do it, don't do it. Oh, baby, don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way. wada wop, wop to wada wop, wop to wada do wop. Oh, I need you so. I love you so. Yes, I do. Sugar honey, listen to me. I've been good and sweet to you. Please, pretty baby, don't say we're through. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Quit, don't do it. Stop, don't do it, don't do it. Oh, baby, don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way. Night. Now all you wanna do is fuss and fight. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Quit, don't do it. Stop, don't do it, don't do it. Oh, baby, don't leave me this way. Baby, don't leave me this way. Oh, baby, don't leave me this way. Oh, baby, don't leave me this way. Don't leave me this way. Baby, oh, quit, girl, you about to rock me to death.
Those are the Penguins from April 1955. That's the first of 7 for the Mercury record banner there. Don't Do It is the name of that one. Dexter Tisby on lead there. To me, sometimes they all sound the same. They do, but no, Cleve Duncan, I can pick him out. But Curtis Williams, they do great ballads and up-tempos. Have to agree, the Penguins, one of the great groups of the 1950s. Let's continue here. Let's go back to the 78s as we alternate back and forth, 45 to 78s. Now, 2 weeks ago, I featured the Checkers' 5th of 10 on the King record banner, a song entitled You Never Had It So Good, would feature the bass lead of Bill Brown. He was a former member of the Dominoes. Now, the flip side is a nice ballad. It features Little David Bawn on lead as we go to October of 1953. King Records on a 78 again, the Checkers with their tune I Promise You.
I promise you I'll love you forever. I promise you I'll leave you never when you're not near. Oh yes, I'm always so lonely. You know, my dear, that I love you only. I promise you know you're the only one for me. I promise you.
Yes, Mr. Tompkins, have to agree. Sounding like Clyde McPhatter a little bit on that song there. Those are the Checkers. The Checkers from October 1953 on the King record label. A 78 there, featured it on a 78. Little David Bawn on lead. I Promise You, the name of that one. Little David also did lead on House with No Windows. I have that on a 78 and a 45. Johnny G battling on here for a Saturday evening as we continue. Let's go back to the 45s. How about a twin spin on the Moonglows? And on their first session with Chess Records, they recorded 4 songs. These were the 4 songs that they recorded: Shoo Dooby Doo, Sincerely, So All Alone, Such a Feeling, and Tempting. Then in October of 1954, Chess Records released Sincerely, backed with Tempting, and to push their luck, they decided to release another by the group, but they did not to create confusion with Sincerely, that was starting to climb the R&B chart. They changed the name of the group to the Moonlighters, actually Bobby Lester and the Moonlighters. We're going to give a listen to that song right now from November of 1954. Bobby Lester and the Moonlighters on the Checker label. The name of the tune is called Shoo Dooby Doo, parentheses, My Lovin' Baby.
My loving baby, you are the breath of me, and someday, baby, you'll be the death of me. My loving baby, you are my all and all. Shoo-be-doo, my loving baby, can't do without you, even though people may talk about you. My loving baby, you are my all and all. When I go to sleep at night, well, I just dream of you. Babe, you know, I know that my love is true. My loving baby, you are the breath of me, and someday, baby, you'll be the death of me. My loving baby, you are my all and shoo-doo-be-doo, shoo-doo-be-doo, shoo-doo-be-doo-be-doo, wow. I go to sleep at night, I just dream of you. Babe, you know, I know that my love is true. My loving baby, you are the breath of me, and someday, baby, you'll be the death of me. My loving baby, you are my all and all. You are my all and shoo-doo-be-doo, shoo-doo-be-doo, shoo-doo-be-doo-be-doo, wah. Shoo-doo-be-doo, shoo-doo-be-doo, shoo-doo-be-doo-be-doo, wah.
That's Bobby Lester and the Moonlighters, a.k.a. the Moonglows, their November 1954 release. Leonard Chess's Checker label, Shoo Dooby Doo is the name of that one. They recorded that one at the first Chess session. But they decided to release Sincerely, did very well. That was a good decision by Leonard Chess. And I told you I had a twin spin on the Moonglows. Now, excuse me. In the meantime, Art Sheridan, owner of the Moonglows' previous label, that being Chance Records, lost interest in running his record company in the fall of 1954. But he did release one last record by the Moonglows. They've already left the label, and it's their fifth and hardest to find, which is why I own it on a 78. I don't own it on a 45. I had my chance to buy this, a mint copy on a 45, but I couldn't. 7,000 or 6,500 was too much to come up with for Johnny G, as I do have to have a limit, unfortunately. But anyway, this side features a Harvey Fuqua on lead. He also wrote the tune. Let's go to September of 1954. These are the Moonglows on Chance, featuring it on a 78. The Moonglows on Chance on a 78, their tune called 219 Train.
Sometimes I could cry. Heaven help me, I could have died. I understand that we had to part, Don't know why life like this. Hit you miss. Don't know why. Sometimes I could cry. It's confusing, but amusing that I'm in love with you. Life is hazy. I'm going crazy. What more can I do? Well, I'm gonna lay my head on some lonesome railroad line. Let the 219 train ease my trouble. My and the song music, that I in love with you. Life is hazy. I'm going crazy. Oh, tell me, baby, what can I do? That 219 train is my troubled mind.
Yeah, that's a cool bluesy vocal group there, the Moonglows. The Moonglows from September 1954, 219 Train on Chance Records. That's on a 78, plays pretty nice. And Harvey Fuqua on lead for that one. As I mentioned, I had a chance to buy a mint 45, but way out of my price range. Yes, Daryl, if I was back in 1963, I'm sure I could. It was more in line. They were like $40 back in 1963 or 64, which at that time was a lot of money to pay $40 for a single. A lot of them were selling for only $1. You can go into Times Square Records and they would have them, on the wall there, the records on the wall. You'd see $3, $1.50. And some of these rarer ones would be like $40, $50. And I think there was one dealer in particular that really raised all the prices, and I'm not gonna say who that is. Maybe some of you know who that dealer, that record collector might be, who's now a dealer anyway. But those are the Moonglows there. I want to say something else, that this only comes out on the white and black label, and which were considered promos in the with the early releases on Chance, but then I think when Art Sheridan didn't care anymore, he lost interest in the label. He didn't care if they were pressed up on promos or not, so the promos were like the stock copies, or the black and whites were issued as stock copies. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue. Let's go back to the 45s. This is a request for George Tompkins, who I'm looking forward to our get-together, George, for sure. But this group from Washington, D.C., they had 4 releases on the RCA record label. George requested their 4th and final release for RCA. It features Robert Evans on lead. We go way back to July of 1952. They're called the Heartbreakers. It's on the RCA record label. The name of the tune is called There Is Time.
There is time enough to see that you belong to me, and that I belong to you. For the moon is out tonight, the stars are shining bright, and my love is burning in deep in my heart. Though the clouds appear, please remember, dear, there is time to think and to dream of you. The warmth of your embrace, your sweet and smiling face, prove to me that there is time, sweetheart. There is time, sweetheart.
By request there for George Tompkins. Sweet sound there by the Heartbreakers. There Is Time is the name of that one. That was their 4th release for the RCA record banner there. Robert Evans on lead way back, July 1952 released there. Now, the group would break up in early 53. 2 of the members joined the Griffins on Mercury, and the other 2 joined the Tops on the Red Robin record label. John G here spinning original vinyl 45s and 78s. We go back to the 78s. Now, here's a flip of a 78 from a couple of weeks ago as we head out to Los Angeles, California, to the Bahari Brothers RPM label. Featured the first of 3 for Arthur Lee May and the Crowns. The side I featured, the ballad side, was called Truly. Now the flip side, a tune written by Johnny Otis, and this one from February 1955, Arthur Lee May and the Crowns on the RPM record label. This is on a 78. A song entitled Youichi Pachi.
Diddly wah wah. We're gonna ooh-chie patchy, ooh-chie patchy, ooh-wee, ooh-chie patchy all the time. In the
When the clock strikes two, it's just me and you. Diddly wah wah. When the clock strikes three, we're gonna have a ball. We're gonna rock and roll, and that ain't all. We're gonna ooh, ooh, oochie patchy, ooh, ooh, oochie patchy, ooh wee, oochie patchy all the time. When the clock strikes four, we're gonna kiss some more. Diddly wah wah. When the clock strikes five, I don't want no jive. Diddly wah wah. Baby, after 6 o'clock's come 7. Your good loving is just like a heaven. Me gonna ooh, ooh, oochie patchy, ooh, ooh, oochie patchy, ooh wee, oochie patchy all the time. Strikes 8, it's not too late. Bom diddly wah wah. When the clock strikes 9, we'll be real fine. Bom diddly wah wah. From 10 to 11, I'll love you so. Long about midnight, let you go. We gonna ooh, ooh, oochie patchy, ooh, ooh, oochie patchy, ooh wee, oochie patchy all the time. Baby's after hour and it's time to go. One more thing I want you to know. We gonna ooh, ooh, oochie patchy, ooh, ooh, oochie patchy, ooh wee, oochie patchy all the time.
Yeah, what does Youichi Pachi mean? I don't know what that means, but anyway, those are Arthur Lee May and the Crowns, February 1955. That's the first of 3 on the Bahari Brothers RPM record label. Youichi Pachi is the name of that one. Played it on a 78, sounding really good on the 78. Now, this song was also covered by Linda Hayes, and the Platters backing them up on the King record label. That I think I have that on the 78 too. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We spin original vinyl 45s out of my collection and 78s. We do it from 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies. Now, this next artist was previously the lead of the Crickets on the JD record label, but then began a solo career, but he also continued to sing with groups like the Bachelors and the Montereys, while also keeping his solo career. And his first solo recording was also on the Joe Davis's JD record label, was I'll String Along With You. Came out in March of 55. So let's give a spin to the follow-up, which gives total writer credit to WINS disc jockey Alan Freed, who probably played the heck out of this so he could collect his royalty payments with his buddy Joe Davis. But anyway, it's a tune that craves a vocal group in my opinion, but it's a great song. I like it. From May of 55, Mr. Dean Barlow on JD, a song entitled Forever. Just hear Alan Freed saying, that's Dean Barlow on the JD record label. There you go. Dean Barlow, May 1955 release. Joe Davis's JD record label there, a song entitled Forever, Dean Barlow. And, of course, he's also sang with the Crickets and the Montereys and the Bachelors. I have that Bachelors 45, their second one out, which I do like both sides. Tell Me Now, and, what's the other side as Johnny G draws a blank. As we continue here on the 50s and early 60s edition of the Vinyltreasure Show, we go back to the 78s, and this one only came out on a 78, so don't tell me you have this on a 45, because it never did come out on a 45 unless somebody booted it or you got it on a Lost Night boot or a Lost Night reissue or something. But Old Town Records, High Weiss, has never put this out on a 45. The group is out of Harlem, New York. They initially had 4 releases on the Rainbow record label, then 2 on High Weiss's Old Town. Now, this is their second and only came out on a 78. Now, I have featured their first release on red vinyl. Didn't play so hot as I think that one does not, but it was called You Could Be My Love. But let's give a listen to the A-side of their second. It features Wilbur Paul on lead. We go to January of 1954 for the 5 Crowns. The 5 Crowns on Old Town. It's called Lullaby of the Bells.
Dear Lord above, I pray to thee that you come back to me. The bells ringing, the choir singing, my heart's aching. Oh, she forsake me. Oh, Lord, how happy I would be. Please tell my love to come home to me. My prayers are answered from one above. He said, my son, you will be loved. Oh, my Lord, how happy I would be. Please send someone, live in me. The bells ringing, so sweet and low, my Lord will wait. We all will go.
Those are the 5 Crowns. Only on a 78. You're not going to get that on a 45. The 5 Crowns, January 1954 release. Wilbur Paul on lead for that one. Lullaby of the Bells. High Weiss's Old Town record label. We continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show. And this next group is from North Carolina, consisting of 3 cousins, Loman and Clarence Pauling and Johnny Tanner. They were all cousins, along with Obadiah Carter and Johnny Moore. Collectively, they were known as the 5 Royales. Now let's give a listen to the B-side to their 5th release on the Apollo label with Charlie Little Jazz Ferguson and his orchestra. This one features Johnny Tanner on lead. We go to July of 1953. Interesting lyrics on this song, so listen closely. Listen closely. The 5 Royales on Apollo, a song entitled Laundromat Blues.
Don't rush, folks, just take your time. Give my baby 20 minutes and she'll make you lose your mind. My baby's got the best machine, the best washing machine in town. Oh, what a machine. My baby's got the best machine, the best washing machine in town.
got the very best equipment. There's no better machine to be found.
What machine?
Just bring your dirty clothes, bring all your dirty duds. Don't worry about no soap, her machine is full of suds. My baby's got the best machine, the best washing machine in town. Just relax and take it easy while the machine goes round and round.
What machine? What machine? What machine?
She works every day, she works every night. This is her motto, customers always right. Just don't overload her machine, the best washing machine in town. If you want to see smooth action, it will cost you 30 cents a pound.
What machine?
So treat my baby gentle, treat my baby kind, cause her kind of service nowadays is hard to find. She's got the best machine, the best washing machine in town. She can do it over and over, and her machine won't break down. What a machine!
Yeah, July 1953 release there for the Five Royales. Johnny Tanner on lead for that one. Laundromat Blues, Bess Berman's Apollo record label for that one. You got the Laundromat Blues. You can call up a mechanic now to come up and fix your washing machine. Anyway, Johnny G here, spinning original 45s and 78s out of my collection. Let's go back to the 78s now, as this one does come out on a 45, but I don't own it. And I don't know if I've ever seen a copy of it, but I know there are some out there, but I don't have this one. But I do have it on a promo 78, and it's actually pretty cool. It's a flexi promo, which means it's not like those hard slate 78s. It's a nice vinyl promo, which is the best type of 78 to own. And I think my Charmers on Timely is like that too. I even have some RCAs like that also, and I think I have a Luniverse 45 by Buchanan and Goodman that's way anyway. But they're more durable, similar to a 45. But the group is called the Bees. Now, Billy Bland of Let the Little Girl Dance fame was a member of this group. I think he wrote the flip side of this record. I don't think he's doing lead, though. They had 2 releases on Imperial, the Bees. I'm featuring their second, which is actually a cover. It was written and first written and recorded by Savannah Churchill, but this one comes out November of 54. Give a listen to the Bees on Imperial with their rendition of the tune, I Want to Be Loved.
I want to be loved, but only by you. I shouldn't be so crazy about you, but what can I do?
What can I do?
Just feeling, magnifying my dreams are magnifying, but darling, they don't come true. Oh, can't you love me a little bit longer? 'Cause I want to be loved, but by only you.
Only by you.
I I want to be loved, but by only you. I shouldn't be crazy. What can I do? Just feeling, magnifying my dreams are magnifying, but darling, they don't come true. Oh, can't you love me a little bit longer? 'Cause I want to be loved by only by you. Only by you.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Those are the Bees from November 1954. I Want to Be Loved is the name of that one. Came out on the Imperial record label. Featured it on a promo vinyl 78, which is pretty cool. Flexi disc there. I wonder if that could be Billy Bland. Sometimes their voices change as they get older. JohnnyG's, believe it or not, I used to be able to sing okay. Now I cannot hold a tune for anything. Barbara has to cover her ears if I try to sing. Although it's funny, I could sing better falsetto than my normal baritone voice. Anyway, you don't want to hear Johnny G sing. As we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Now, in the last 50 show, I played my favorite song by this group, by Richard Barrett and the Valentines. It was a 45 that my aunt purchased in the fall of 1955, and actually, it's the song that catapulted me into the collecting hobby. And it came out on George Goldner's Rama record label. The side was called I Love You, Darling, and I dedicated that one to my Aunt Mary. And, it's still hard to get over her passing, because she was supposed to come here as on my show as a guest, I don't know what, a guest listener, and talk about the music, her records that are part of my collection, that she's made me so much a part of this music, but that is all gone. But anyway, I still have the memories here, but we're going to flip the 45 over, as both sides are excellent on this record. It's with Jimmy Wright and the orchestra. It's the second of 7 for the Valentines on the Blue Rama label. November 1955, the Valentines with Hand Me Down Love.
Hand me down love. I don't want no hand me down love. I just want a real kind of love that is mine from the start. Hand me down love. I don't need no hand me down love. I just want a true kind of love that comes straight from your heart. I've been searching and praying that someday I'd find somebody who would adore me and love me. And then I ran into you, just you alone. What a love that I've never known, like the kind that I'm dreaming of.
B-sides here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Richard Barrett and the Valentines. That's the B-side to I Love You, Darling. November 1955 release on George Goldner's Rama label, the second of 7 by the Valentines on Rama, Hand Me Down Love. We'll also send that one out to George Tompkins. I know he likes that tune as we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Now, in the last 50 show, I played a 78 on Don Robey's Duke label by a group called the Sultans. It was their second of 4 on the Duke label. It was called Baby Don't Put Me Down. It featured a young Eugene McDaniels on lead, the same Gene McDaniels that recorded 100 Pounds of Clay. Now, the flip side of this features another lead. His name is Willie Barnes, and we go to August of 1954. These are the Sultans on Duke. It's called I Cried My Heart Out.
I cried my heart out for you. I almost died when you told me we were through. I sigh whenever I hear your name. You lied and you told me you were my flame. Someday, sweetheart, you miss me so, and baby, then you'll see, you'll cry your heart out for me. Without you, dear, I almost died when you told me we were through. I sigh whenever I hear your name. You lied, and you told me you were my flame. Someday, sweetheart, you miss me so, and baby, then you'll see, you'll cry your heart out for me. For you.
Those are the Sultans. I think they're out of Omaha, Nebraska, if I remember correctly. The Sultans, August 54 release, I Cried My Heart Out, is the name of that one on the Don Robey's Duke label. Featured it on 78. Now, that's the second of 4 they recorded for Duke, and they would have 2 more releases on King as the Admirals. Very nice releases by them on King Records. We continue here. Now, let's continue with the B-sides from the last 50 show, and this next song, a decent hit for the Chantels on the N label in 1958, made it up to number 72 on Cashbox, but it went to 42 on the Billboard charts. I'm sure it was much bigger here in the New York area. This one, though, originally recorded by Harlem's own Crows, and this was the B-side to the Crows' biggest hit that I played a couple weeks ago. You know the song. It was called G. We're going to flip it over here. It features Sonny Norton on lead. This one from May of 53. These are the Crows on Rama. As we just heard the Valentines on Rama, these are the Crows on Rama, and then this is the original version of the song I Love You So.
love you so. I want you to know. I'm telling you, darling, I'll never let you go. I need you true. I hope you do too. I'm telling you, darling, I'll never let you go. You know how much I love you, and that we'll never part. And you know how much I need you. I'm keeping you here in my heart. I feel you near. I hope you do, dear. I'm telling you, darling, I want you to know. Well, you know, my darling, that we never part. And you know, my darling, I'm keeping you here in my heart. I need you true. I hope you do too. I'm telling you, darling, I'll never let you go. Never let you go.
B-sides here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Those are the Crows. Sonny Norton and the Crows, the original version of I Love You So. Of course, Arlene Smith and the Chantels, they do a great version of that too. May 1953, the second of 6 for the Crows on George Goldner's Rama record label. Let's continue now. And on the last 50 show, I featured a 78 on Saul Rabinowitz's Baton label by a group called the Suburbans. I featured their side called I Remember. And Cortez Franklin, he was the lead on that. The flip side features a different lead. His name is Chris Kyler, and this side also written by group member Sylvester Bradford. It's the first of 2 on Baton for the Suburbans with Dave McCrae and his orchestra. This one from May of 56, the Suburbans with TV Baby.
And spend a while with me. We can move a little closer, closer. TV, baby, any program that you want to see. Give a nudge and it's fine by me. We'll just move a little closer, closer. There's no place where I want to go. Don't wanna dance or a Broadway
on a TV day. We'll just move a little closer, 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 closer,
May 56 release there for the Suburbans. Chris Kyler, he's on lead. The first of two they recorded on Saul Rabinowitz's Baton label. TV Baby is the name of that one on us. Orange Label 78. The stock copy's yellow. The white. Then they have the white promos, of course. And actually, there are. I have a light blue. I have an EP, a Baton EP by one of the instrumentals. It's on a light blue Baton label too. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here. Let's go back to the 45s. Now, this next song was the very first vocal group I played on my very first Vinytreasure Show here on Top Shelf Oldies back in September of 2005. And this was the record. It's on Morty Craft's Melba label. It's the group's third for Melba. This great group out of Harlem, New York. It features Tony Middleton on lead. We go back to February 1957. Melba Records for the Willows and their tune, Little Darlin'.
Ba 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 da da da.
Well now, little darling, I really love you so, and I'll never let you go because you're mine, alone, alone, alone. Oh, I really love you. Oh, yes, I love you so, and I'll never let you go because you're mine, oh mine. You know, I love you so, and I'll never let you go. You know, I want you so, 'cause I love you so. Well now, little darling, I really love you so, and I'll never let you go because you're mine, oh mine. So, little darling, I really love you so, and I'll never let you go because you're mine, oh mine, you're mine, oh mine, you're mine, oh do 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 do.
February 1957 release there, Tony Middleton and the Willows. Little Darlin' is the name of that one on Morty Craft's Melba record label, and that's their third release on the Melba label. I remember I was at the Orangeburg flea market, and this guy was selling his records, and he said, "You liked," and he said, "You're pretty young to like the records from the 50s." He was selling, they were his trashed records, and he asked me, he said, "Do you have Little Darling?" I said, "Oh, by the Diamonds." He goes, "No, by the Willows." I said, "By the Willows?" I said, "No, I'm looking for the record." Of course, I must have been about 18 or 19 years old. I didn't have the record. And I was like surprised that he knew that record because I didn't think it was a common record at the time, but I'm sure it was played. here in the New York area, because you do find this record sometimes around. But anyway, I thought it was pretty cool that the seller there was asking me about a 45. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we babble on here. Now let's continue. Now this is the last 78 for tonight for this group out of Newport News, Virginia. It's their third and final release on Phil Rose's Glory label. Now the A-side is a cover song written way back in 1927 by Jerome Kern and Oscar Hammerstein, and lots of groups recorded this song through the years, and one rare one is on the Ronnie label by the Hideaways. I don't have that. If I'm going to play that record, it's going to be on Lost Night. So don't anybody request that record for Johnny G, because it's going to have to come out on the Lost Night label. But let's give this one a listen. This version here by a group called The Leaders. It features Harry Burton on lead. We go to back to May of 56. These are The Leaders on Glory, and their rendition of the tune, Can't Help Loving That Girl of Mine.
Well, fish gotta swim, birds gotta fly, gotta love one girl till the day I die. Can't help loving that girl of mine. Tell me she's lazy, tell me she's slow, tell me I'm crazy, maybe I know. Can't help loving that girl of mine. When she goes away, that's a lonely day. But when she comes home, that day is fine. The sun is gonna shine. She can come home late as can be. Home without her just ain't no home for me. Can't help loving that girl of
That's good to the last drop there. Those are The Leaders with Harry Burton on lead from May 1956 on the Glory record label. That's their third and final release for the Glory label. Their rendition of the tune, Can't Help Loving That Girl of Mine. That is our final 78 for the evening. As we continue here, all 45s from now on. And how about a request? A request here for my number one California listener. That will be Métis Campboy, listening over in California. She's in the YouTube chat room also. Got to say hi to Métis. She requested this great group, but not much known about them. But I say they are local to New York City, and this was their only release on Ed Portnoy and Stan Feldman's Ivy label. So by request for Métis Campboy, we go to November of 1957. Give a listen to the Vanguards on Ivy. Their tune is called Moonlight.
The moonlight at my window is shining with a glow
shining with the glow. Oh, moonlight, won't you hear my plea? 'Cause my heart is bleeding, oh, repeating. Oh, shine on, bright moon. Oh, 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 oh. Moonlight at my window is shining with a glow.
Moonlight shining through my window tonight. Oh, I beg you, bring my loved one to me. Please, please bring her home safely to me.
Moonlight at my window is from heaven above.
Moonlight.
Yes, that is a cool tune requested by Métis Campway over in California. The Vanguard's November 1957 release, Moonlight, is the name of that one on the Ivy record label. For you collectors out there, check your press on this record because true originals have to mention B.B. Butler and the orchestra below the name of the group. If you don't have that, you have like a 1961 press of that was sold in Times Square Records, because that record was reissued in the early 1960s with the, I call it the first revival of the music, but a great tune. Thanks for that request, matey. As we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show, let's go back to California. We go to Leon Renee's Class label for this one. This group is called The Classics, a popular name for vocal groups back in the day, but this is the same group that recorded on the Crest label in '59. They do a great tune called Let Me Dream, but I like both sides of this one on the Class label, and I'm featuring the up-tempo side for today's show. This one from December 57. Give a listen to The Classics on Class. It's called Gosh, but This Is Love.
Wonder why I feel this way. Happiness is what they say. No, I don't know, but I will go. Gosh, but this is love. I hear the music and there's no one there. I smell the blossom and the trees are bare. There's the horse, the cow, and the bees, the dog. Gosh, but this is love. Oh, been running like crazy. Just don't know what to do. Like a jerk, you know I don't work. All I do is think of you. Wonder why I feel this way. Happiness is what they say. You know I don't know, but I've been told. Gosh, but this is love. Running like crazy. Just don't know what to do. Like a jerk, you know I don't work. All I do is dream of you. But if you knew how much I love you, the sun would always shine. You reckon it's funny, we'll make much money. Gosh, but this is love. This is love. This is love. Wow. This is love. This is love. This is love. Wow. This is love. Oh, running like crazy. Just don't know what to do. Like a jerk, you know I don't work. All I do is think of you. What if you knew how much I love you? The sun will always shine. You reckon how funny would make much money? Gosh, but this is love. Gosh, this is love.
They're called The Classics, December 57 release on Leon Renee's Class label. Gosh, But This Is Love is the name of that tune as we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Now, in the last Vinyltreasure Show, I played the Versatiles on Atlantic. That was a group out of Washington, D.C. I featured their tune Passing By. The flip side is a nice ballad. We're going to give it a spin here before I file it back down in the No Humidity Basement. This one from October 58. Give a listen to the Versatiles on Atlantic, and their song is called Crying.
Oh, I crying, tears up in my eyes. I'm crying 'cause you said goodbye. You left me sad and blue. Now I'm crying over you.
October 58 release there for the Versatiles. Versatiles on Atlantic Records. Great two-sided 45, Crying, we just heard last week or a couple weeks ago. I played the other side, a song entitled Passing By. Johnny G passing by from 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies. Let's continue here. I have a 45 on the Pet label, which was located at 201 West 49th Street in New York City. Now, it was a short-lived lived label, started back in 1958. It was formed by Don Carter, who just prior to forming this label was VP for George Goldner's Gone Records and sales manager for Morris Levy's Roulette label. Well, I don't know if you want to really, leave Roulette Records and Morris Levy, if you know what they were into. But he joined up with Don Roby, believe it or not, owner of Duke Peacock Records in Houston, Texas, to form this label called Pet Records and assist with finding East Coast talent for Don Roby's Backbeat label also. So it was twofold for this. But, what transpired, of course, was Norman Fox and the Rob Roys, of course, ended up on Backbeat Records. It was something to do with these two guys here, with at least with this guy, Don Carter, here on the East Coast. But there's some nice records on the Pet label by groups like the Revlons and the Capitals. And this group that I'm featuring, they're called the Gay Knights. And this is with Buddy Lucas and his orchestra. It's from April 58. Let's give it a spin. The Gay Knights on Pet, with their tune called The Loudness of My Heart.
pulse of my heart.
He's beating my heart. He's so loud and clear. He's beating my heart. He's got your name.
He's beating my heart, dear. He's so loud and clear. Beating my lonely heart. Well, each time you're near me, each beat of my heart brings you one step closer to me.
He's beating my heart.
Each beat of my heart, dear, means I adore you so much. Beat of my lonely heart means I need you so much. Never let you go, go. Because I love you so. Oh, I love you with all my heart and soul. Oh, you're the only girl I ever want to hold, yes. And when you kiss me and hold me tight, will it be forever or only for tonight? Each beat of my heart, dear, beats so loud and clear. Beat of my lonely heart. Well, each time you're near me, beat of my heart brings you one step closer to me.
Surface noise and all. I think they all play with surface. That's a promo too. Promo's supposed to play better than that, but that's on the Pink DJ Pet label. April 58 released The Gay Nights with a K, K-N-I-G-H-T-S, The Loudness of My Heart. Johnny G blasting the records here. I'm glad my neighbors have moved to Ireland. They would actually say, John, you kept up my guests. They're sleeping in the guest room across the way. And it's kind of close. But I had the windows closed, but I play the music loud, and she couldn't sleep for hours. He says, well, they're not there. And we got night owls next door anyway, so that's good. Johnny G here spinning original vinyl 45s out of my collection. We do it every Saturday from 10 to midnight. We try to do the music chronologically. I've been pretty much chronological, maybe with some of the 78s that are some earlier styles. I try to mix it up a little bit, but we are in the year 1958, and this is a rare 45 out of East St. Louis, Illinois, and I have no info on the group, but the label I have some information on. It's on the Sun-Nel, SUN-NEL Records, and I'm guessing that the writers of the song are the label owners. They're identified on the label as Ray Nelson. He writes the words, and Sonny Shields it writes the music, hence Sun for Sonny and Nell for Nelson, Sun-Nel Records. Now, the group is called the Goodfellows, and it's from 1958. Let's give it a spin. The Goodfellows from 58 on Sun-Nel. It's called Another Chance.
Tell me, darling, you love me so. Please, darling, give me another chance. Another chance. Come a little closer, hold me in your arms. Give me, darling, all of your charms. Darling, give me another chance. Another chance. One more chance. I love you so. Want you to know. Tell me, darling, you love me so. Please, darling, give me another chance. Another chance. I love you so. Want you to know. Lean on to me. Darling, can't you see? Want you in my arms. Holding all your charm.
All your charm.
Want you to know. Tell me, darling, you love me so. Please, darling, give me another chance.
That's a record you're not going to hear every day by a group called the Goodfellows. The Goodfellows from 1958. Another Chance is the name of that one on the Sun L record label out of East St. Louis, Illinois. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening spinning original vinyl 45s out of my collection. Let's continue here now. The lead singer of this next group is still performing today with maybe a new group, but he is singing. He's active on Facebook, and he also recently did a guest host spot on Sirius XM Radio playing his favorite songs a couple of weeks ago. And now his group was out of Staten Island, New York, and on the day that I was born, their record was #1, at least in Westchester County, New York. It was #1. And I'm sure you all know the record came out on the Apt record label, a song entitled Little Star. But this is the follow-up to their big #1 hit, Little Star, and features Vito Pacone on lead. Let's go to September. No, actually, this was released in September of 58 because that record by The Elegants was #1 in 58. So they said, let's get the next record out to start it off. So this came out in September of 58. These are The Elegants. Vito Pacone on lead on Apt Records with Please Believe Me.
Oh, believe me.
That's their follow-up to Little Star, song entitled Please Believe Me, Vito Pacone and the Elegants. September 1958, the second of three on the Apt label, division of ABC Paramount Records. And they had other releases, not only on ABC Paramount, but Hull, Laurie, Photo, United Artists, and others. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We continue here. We move into 1959 now. By request for Ron and Dorothy, the listening couple in Michigan, I've been spinning sides by the Chateaus on the Warner Brothers record label. A couple weeks ago, I featured their third on Warner Brothers, a song called You'll Reap What You Sow. But let's give a listen to the flip side, as this group is out of Newport News, Virginia, and it features Edwin Hall on lead. So by request for Ron and Dorothy from Michigan, we go to June of 59. Give a listen to the Chateaus on Warner Brothers. It's called Ladder of Love.
When your heart beats like a hammer and you stammer, when I'm around, we just climbing on up the ladder of love. Bow, bow. When I kiss you and caress you and you whisper, where are we bound? We're just climbing on up the ladder of love. Yes, step by step we're going up, 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 up the stairway to romance. We're on our way to bliss, so let's not stop. Let's be thankful that we have this chance. If we're heading for the wedding where it's heaven to be found, we're just climbing on up the ladder of love. We're just climbing on up the ladder of love for two.
By request for Ron and Dorothy up in Michigan, those are the Chateaus. The Chateaus, that is their third release on the Warner Brothers record label, Ladder of Love, from June of 1959. They stay in the year 1959 for a pretty rare 45. Both the label and the group there out of Muncie, Indiana. Now, the members included Theodis Barnes, Phil Butts, Ralph Hersey, Ray Jimerson, and Ellsworth Williams. Collectively, they were known as the Continentals. Now, I don't think this Continentals group is the same as any of the other Continentals you may know of, but there's no logo on this label. It's a very plain, bland, white promo label. I showed it to you guys in the YouTube chat room. Now, it's pressed by Columbia Records. Now, the instrumentation is provided by the Counts of Rhythm, but let's give this one a spin. It's by the Continentals. It's from May of 59 on the Muncie label. It's called Don't Leave Me.
Take this girl to be your wife, to find dum doodly wop, dum de dum doodly wop, dum de dum doodly wop, dum de dum doodly wop. I promise to take this girl for my wife, to love and cherish her for the rest of my life. Please don't leave me. Whoa, don't leave me. Don't leave me blue and lonely, because I love you only. Please don't leave me. Whoa, I promise to love that girl, love her with all my heart. The preacher said when you take these vows, you love her till the day you part. Don't leave me, don't leave me blue and lonely, because I love you only. Please don't leave me. Love her with all my heart. The preacher said when you take these vows, you love her till the day you part. Don't leave me, don't leave me blue and lonely, because I love you only. Please don't leave me.
May 1959 release there for the Continentals and the Counts of Rhythm. Don't Leave Me is the name of that one. It came out on the Muncie record label. Not a common record to find at all. Johnny G here, continuing with the 1950s here. We are in July of 1959 as we head out to Hollywood, California, to Bob Keene's Donna label. This group is called the Fantastics. The record also comes out under another group name called the Rookies. They use the same number, but my copy says the Fantastics. I think that was the first way, and have no info on this group, but it's a nice West Coast sound. This one from July 59, the Fantastics on Donna. It's called The Penalty. Whoa.
Must be a penalty for what you did to me, making me fall in love with you, when all the time you knew that my love was true. Why did you steal my heart away? I knew your record of broken romances. I thought this love of ours was worth taking chances. Your innocent smile and your deep blue eyes, how was I to know they were full of lies? The sentence you will serve will be for the rest of your life, as we'll go on forever as man and wife.
July 59 release there for the Fantastics on Bob Keene's Donna Records. Out of Los Angeles, California, The Penalty is the name of that one. Also comes out as The Rookies. I think that's the second way by The Rookies. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. It's all 1950s and early 60s 45s out of my collection. There were 78s earlier. Now we're into the 45s, and we move into 1960. With a request for listener Nat Papagallo, listening down in Florida, wanted to hear this group out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on Lou Guarino and Lenny Martin's Robbie label. They formed while attending Clarence High School in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is their second of two on the Robbie label. It features Ray Lanciance. No, I kind of broke his name up to read it right. Ray Lanciance. Ray Lancianesi. That's it. Ray Lancianesi on lead. There you go. We got to send this one out to Nat Papagallo from October 1960, Robbie Records. These are the Holidays, and their tune called Then I'll Be Tired of You.
Tired of you, tired of you.
I'll be tired of you when stars are tired of gleaming, when I am tired of dreaming, then I'll be tired of you. So tired. This I know is true. When winds are tired of blowing, when grass is tired of growing, then I'll be tired of you. Beyond the years, till day is night, till wrong is right, till birds refuse to sing. Beyond the years, the echoes of my only love will still be whispering, whispering. If my throbbing heart should ever start that it is tired of bleeding, then I'll be tired of you. Then I'll be tired of you. Then I'll be tired of you.
October 1960 release on the Robbie label out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania by request for Nat Papagallo. The Holidays with their tune, the second of two on the Robbie label there. Then I'll Be Tired of You. Johnny G's never tired of spinning original vinyl 45s and 78s out of my collection. Let's continue here as we stay in 1960 now. A few weeks ago, I played a 45 on the Firefly label by this West Coast group called The Strands. It was called Must You Go So Soon? But let's flip the 45 over before I file it back down in the no humidity basement. Give a listen to this group called The Strands. It's from 1960 on Firefly. It's called How Will I Know?
How will I know you love me? And how will I know you care? One little sign that you are mine, with nothing else could compare. Here is my heart in dreamland. Here our way. But baby, will you be true? I come for you, dear, in my arms tonight. Cuddle up close, I'll hold you real tight. Now, dear, won't you say that you love me true? Speak just 2 words, whoa, say I do. Whoa, how will I know you love me? And life with me you share. Say to your heart, we'll never, 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 never part. And darling, I know you care. How will I know you love me? And life with me you share. Say to your heart, we'll never, 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 never part. And darling, I know you care. And darling, I know you care. Yeah, and darling, I know you care. And darling, I know you care. Yeah, and darling, I know you care.
They're called the Strands from 1960 out of California, the Firefly label before it became a reissue label. Those are the Strands with How Will I Know? Well, you will know. Johnny G's playing original vinyl with the scratches and the visual. If you go to the YouTube page, I'm streaming live on YouTube video. You can check it out there as we continue here. Now, on the last 50s show, I featured a group called the Fabulons. They were out of Stamford, Connecticut. They would later record as the Gleams on the Parkway label. I featured their Ember release, the side called Give Me Back My Ring. Now, the flip side is a cover song originally done by Lillian Leach and the Mellows in 1955 on the JD record label. But let's give a listen to this version by the Fabulons. We go back to December of 1960. Ember Records, the Fabulons, with their rendition of the tune Smoke from Your Cigarette.
Smoke from your cigarette, clouds my eyes, things that you speak of make me realize that you found someone else to take my place in your There was a time you would say I was the only one who could bring happiness to you or anyone. Well, now those days are gone. Gone are the days when you would say we were meant for each other. Gone are the days, oh, wonderful days when all your kisses I was older. There was a time you would say I was the only one who could bring happiness to you or anyone. But now those days are gone.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Fabulons from December 1960 doing that Lillian Leach tune, Smoke from Your Cigarette. Al Smith's Ember label for that one. As we move into 1961 now with a request for listener Charles Stanton. This group is thought to be from the state of Connecticut, but the label is out of Wilmington, Delaware, Vince Rago's Ritchie label. Now the record was getting lots of airplay in the Delaware area. Then Morris Levy entered the picture with an offer that Vince couldn't refuse. So with the next pressings of this record, the labels would all say distributed by Roulette Records. So you don't cross Morris Levy. No, you don't. But the true first presses do not say that. And I'll show it back to you guys over in the YouTube chat room because it looks totally different than the ones you see, the other logo styles with distributed by Roulette. But let's give this one a spin from July of 61. These are the Sinceres on Ritchie with Please Don't Cheat on Me by request for Charles Stanton. Request for Charles Stanton. Those are the Sinceres, July 1961 on Vince Rago's Ritchie label. Please Don't Cheat on Me. We're going to send that one out also to Ron and Dorothy listening up in Michigan. They enjoy releases on the Ritchie label. So how about a twin spin on the Ritchie label? We'll send this one out to Ron and Dorothy. Another hard 45 to find on the Ritchie label out of Wilmington, Delaware. It's by Frankie and the C Notes as we stay the same month and year of July of 61. Let's give it a spin. Frankie and the C Notes on Ritchie. It's called Forever and Ever.
Yeah.
And darling, please come back to me, for I'm in love with you. I really need you, my darling. Yes, I love you. I really want you, my darling. Yes, I'll be true. Forever and ever, my darling. I'll always, yes, I'll always love you.
We send that one out to Ron and Dorothy listening in Michigan. Frankie and the C-Notes, pretty expensive 45, I'd say, on Vince Rago's Richie label, July 61. Forever and Ever is the name of that tune. Johnny G, we are now in Vinytreasure overtime, but the next record, the next number of records are all requests that you listeners sent in. They just all happened to be in the early 1960s. So up next is a request for listener Stephen Kahn. Wanted to hear this group from Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Started recording in 1959 for the Oak label. Then with their second release, came out first on the High Tide label. It would then be picked up by Felsted Records, but the song was written by the lead singer. His name is Larry James, but I'm featuring it on the original label. It's on the High Tide label, which my copy is on green vinyl, so you can see it over those of you looking in the YouTube chat room. So this is by special request for Stephen Kahn, this one from January 61. These are the Echoes on High Tide and their tune called Angel of Love.
You're the angel
group called The Echoes. The Echoes, they're out of Latrobe, Pennsylvania, by request for Stephen Kahn. January 1961, featured it ultra rare release on the High Tide label on green vinyl. Probably a promo there for that. The Echoes with Angel of Love. Johnny G's here in Vinyltreasure Overtime. Got a request for Bopper Boy Warren. This one is on the Barish label out of Brooklyn, New York. Both sides are good on this. Not too long ago, a listener, Matey Campoy, I think you requested the flip of this, was a nice cover of Cherry Pie. I think you did, Matey, if I'm not mistaken. But I know I would have played the flip side. Maybe Warren missed it, but either way, a great two-sided 45. So by request for Warren, it's Jerry Carmen. Jerry Carmen from 1962 on Barish Records. A song entitled Could This Be Love?
Could this be love that has walked into my life? Could this be love? Love in which I sacrifice. And if this is love, no, I don't mind to deny. Maybe my true love won't go by. Could this be dream that I held you tight? Could this be a dream? Dream that I kiss you goodnight. And if this is love, no, 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 don't run away. Come back, my darling. Come back and stay. Could this be love? Love that I never had. Could this be love? Love in which I never felt. And if this is love, no, 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 I won't cry. I won't let my golden chance go by. Could this be love? Love that I need. Could this be love? My, I ask you, please, won't you tell me, dear? Because I'm so afraid maybe this love will go and stay. Could this be love? Could this be love? Could this be love? Could this
By request for Bopper Boy Warren, Jerry Carmen. Jerry Carmen from 1962. It's on the Barish label out of Brooklyn, New York. Could This Be Love is the name of the tune as we continue here. And speaking of Matey Campoy, I have a request here for her. This group called the Rockefellers. They were the backing group to Freddie Faulkner. Had a release on the Swan label called Cigarettes and Matches. And Faulkner also was a member of a group called the Illusions on the Malley label, and also other labels too. And he wrote both sides of this 45 as we go to Frank Slay's Southern Sound label. So by request for California listener Matey Campoy, this one from April 62, give a listen to the Rockefellers on Southern Sound with a song entitled Dear Someone.
Someone I don't really care. You're driving me to disaster. Baby, I don't care. Are you just pretending your laughter? I don't really care. Or don't you love me after all? Love me after all. If life was a world of dreams, I could dream you back. Yes, to me, dream you back to me, darling, and live happily ever after. So happily ever after. But it's not a dream. Not a dream. Can't you see, my darling? Dear someone, please reconsider our love, dear. Don't make me shed another tear. Or don't you love me after all? Maybe I don't care.
That's a great ballad there. Matey Campoy requested that one there by the Rockefellers, April 62, Southern Sound Records. Cool tune there, Dear Someone. Thanks for requesting that tune, Matey, as we continue here. Now, here's another request for Charles Stanton. Wanted to hear the 5 discs from Brooklyn, New York, and this was Murray the K's Boss Record of the Week. Sometime in November of 62 when it was released. And he was a disc jockey on WINS at the time. This one features John Carbone on lead. And I'm featuring it on the original label. The first press is on the Black Cheer label. Second pressed on the red label. Let's give a listen to the 5 discs by request for Charles Stanton, November 62 on Cheer with their tune called Never Let You Go.
It was a lovely night when we first met. I'll never let you go.
Let's send that one out also to Andrew Turner in the YouTube chat room. He loves that tune also. By request for Charles Stanton, those are the 5 discs, November 1962. Never Let You Go, John Carbone on lead there. That's on the Cheer label. The black label is the first press. The red label is the second press. Johnny G here doing Vinytreasure overtime, filling some 60s requests here. And there was only 145 I couldn't find for Matey. I will find that girl group on Decca because it's a great record. I have a VG minus copy and a mint copy. Couldn't find either, but it will come along, Matey, so please keep the requests coming. But she requested this one. I luckily found it at the last minute, this girl group, and this one is on the RCA subsidiary Groove Records. It's a great girl group sound. They're out of New York, and this is their lone release. Now, the members were Jean Durden, Diane Moore, Billy Wright, and Jennifer Richardson, and the lead singer, her name is Virginia Richardson, who goes by the name of Ginger on this, and Matey requested Ginger and the Chiffons, so we're going to send this one out to her. It's from July 62, Groove Records, Ginger and the Chiffons, with their tune called She, S-H-E, She. By request for Matey Campoy listening over in California, that's Ginger and the Chiffons, July 1962 on Groove Records. She is the name of that one. As we continue here on the Vinytreasure Overtime, we stay with the girl groups. A couple weeks ago, Matey requested the Ribbons on the Marsh label. Featured the B-side of their first of two called My Baby Said, but let's give a listen to the intended A-side that was played out there in California on those California stations. It features Vesey Simmons on lead. This one from November 62, Marsh Records. These are the Ribbons. This is the A-side, a song entitled Ain't Gonna Kiss Ya.
I cried my
That group called The Ribbons, that's the intended A-side there. Ain't Gonna Kiss You No More, the first of two on the Marsh record label from November of 1962. That one also came out on the Charger label. Later on, in 65, I think, on the Charger label by the Sandpapers, which I do have also. Johnny G and Vinyltreasure Overtime. Let's continue with the requests here. And here's one I couldn't find for Bopper Boy Warren. He requested it a number of weeks back. But while I was filing some 45s this week, I filed back hundreds of records back on the shelf. I did. There it was, misfiled. This singer sang baritone with the 1950s vocal group The New Yorkers 5 on the Denise record label back in 1955. But here he is in 1962 fronting his own group. This came out on the Tribune label. I'm featuring the intended B-side. This is by request for Bopper Boy Warren, written by the lead singer. His name is Shelley DuPont. It's Shelley DuPont with the calendars from May 62. On Tribune by request for Warren. It's called Share My Love.
I could tell my friends that I'm a lucky guy, but when I'm all alone I break down and cry because you're gone. I'm alone. Oh, did I treat you so wrong? I could smile, but I'll weep from the depths of my heart.
Cool tune, Warren. It was misfiled. I was looking and I'm like, where is this record? And there it was in the E-box. Well, it was DU. His name is Shelley DuPont, and the calendars I would have filed it under DuPont, so it wasn't that far off, but it's a needle in a haystack in my collection. It is May 62 on the Tribune label. That's a cool tune. Share My Love is the name of that one. Now, on the last 50s show, I played a request for Charles Stanton, this Philadelphia group known as the Corvells on the ABC Paramount record label. The A-side was called Take My Love. The B-side is a killer ballad. It features Billy Vaughn on lead. This one from April 62. These are the Corvells on ABC Paramount, and their tune is called Daisy.
My Daisy, my I wouldn't do for you. Oh, yeah. Daisy, sitting by me, day after day, oh, Lord,
Yeah, liking that one there in the YouTube chat room. Those are the Corvells. April 1962, ABC Paramount record label. That's the B-side, a song entitled Daisy. Take My Love, the up-tempo A-side. And that lead, Billy Vaughn, he would change his name to Billy Abbott, and his group, the Jewels, would have a release on the Parkway label in 63 called Groovy Baby, but he's doing lead on that one. Johnny G here in Vinyltreasure Overtime, and we continue with the flip sides from a couple weeks ago. Let's stay in Philadelphia, as I played a request for Matey Campoy on the last 50s and early 60s edition by a group called the Butlers on the Guidon label, a song called Lovable Girl. Frankie Beverly on lead for that one. Let's flip it over, give a listen to the B-side, or A-side, I'm sorry, as this did receive airplay in the Philadelphia area. We can send this one out to Charles Stanton because he remembers hearing this one on the radio in Philadelphia. This one from February 63, the Butlers on Guidon. This is the A-side. It's called When I Grow Older.
I will
Those are the Butlers. That's the A side of that 45. When I Grow Older, February 63 release on the Guidon record label out of Philadelphia, PA. We send that one out to Charles Stanton as we continue here. Now, this next artist was a former member of a group called The Gleams, had a 1961 release on the Kip label called You Broke My Heart, but he left the group for a solo career. His real name is Frank Montanaro. He was from Wantagh, New York, and he recorded 2 for the La Rosa label. His first release was entitled First Star, which received some airplay here on the East Coast, but this is his second, which I think is much better, and it is more expensive, and it's with Tico Wilshire in the orchestra, so when you see that, that means it should be a decent record, but let's give it a spin. From April 63, his stage name is Frankie Love. It's on La Rosa Records. It's called Moon of Love.
Moon of love, my crystal ball, does she love me most of all? Be my wheel of fortune up there in the sky, be her guardian angel, make her love me until I die.
His name is Frankie Love. That's his second release on the La Rosa label, Moon of Love, a group backing him up on that one. April 1963. Johnny G's here and way deep into Vinytreasure overtime. Probably got actually 3 more 45s to go. I got to get one more request in. But here's a B-side from a couple of weeks ago, actually more than that. I featured a group called the Mandells. They were out of Mount Vernon, New York on the York label with the side called It's No Good Being Apart. Well, let's flip that over, give a listen to the intended B-side before it goes back down in the No Humidity basement. This one from April 63, the Mandells on York. It's called I Don't Know What You've Got, parentheses, but you've got it.
I don't know, oh, well, I don't know what you got, but you got it. Yeah, I don't know how you hold me, but you hold me. Ah, please, my little darling, don't scold me. Oh, come on, little baby, just hold me. Well, I don't know what you got it. little darling, you just chill me. Oh, come on, little darling, and love me. Oh, please don't put no one above me. Well, I don't know much about it, but I just can't do without it. So come on, little baby, and give me your love. Well, I don't know what you do, but you do. Yeah, I don't know what you do, but it's true. Yeah, come on, little baby, and be my thrill. I love you, darling, and I always will. Now talk to me, baby, when the talking is right. Oh, baby, thrill me, my baby, love me, baby, hold me, baby. Well, I don't know much about it, but I just can't do without it. So come on, little baby, and give me your love. Well, I don't know what you do, but you do. Yeah, I don't know what you do, but it's true. Yeah, come on, little baby, and be my thrill. I love you, darling, and I always will. Now talk to me, baby, when the talking is right. Oh, baby, thrill me, my baby, love me, baby, hold me, baby. Well, I don't know much about it, but I just can't do without it. So come on, little baby, and give me your love. Come on, baby. Oh, come on. Yeah, yeah, come on now. I don't know.
That was a 10-cent purchase at the Yonkers Raceway Flea Market, the Mandels. April 63 on the York label. I don't know what you've got, but you got it. That's the same group that recorded on the Jubilee label. They do a soulful ballad to True Love is Hard to Find. A great record that is on the Jubilee label. Johnny G here. Got 2 more 45s to go before we sign off here in Vinyl Overtime. And it's a request for Charles Stanton, and it's a cover song originally released in 1958 on the Decca label by a group called the High Fives. But this group is from the Bronx, New York. They do a nice version of this. They had a big hit in 1960, You May Know, on the Mohawk label, their version of Over the Rainbow. But here's one from October 63 as we go to the Coral label for the Dimensions. It features Lenny Dell on lead by request for Charles Stanton. These are the Dimensions with just their rendition of the High Fives tune, Just a Shoulder to Cry On.
Cry on my shoulder, cry, cry. I'm just a shoulder to cry on for you. You don't think about me, just about you. I'm just a shoulder to cry on for you. So cry, cry, cry out your eyes. You run to me when he breaks your heart. You tell me the story right from the start. Oh, what can I do? I love you with all my heart. Cry on my shoulder, go ahead and cry. It doesn't matter if I live or die. Cry on my shoulder, cry, cry, cry. Maybe I'll say goodbye. Whoa, whoa. I'm just a shoulder to cry on for you. You don't think about me, just about you. I'm just the shoulder to cry on for you. So cry, cry, cry.
That's by request for Charles Stanton. Those are the Dimensions. Lenny Dell on lead for that one, October 1962 on the Coral record banner, Just a Shoulder to Cry. And that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with Johnny G, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Been recording this one on Ustream Live, so you're going to see it. Those of you that, this show is pretty long. I've been on almost 3 hours spinning original vinyl 45s, losing my voice. It's with the pollen, I think is what it is. But anyway, I had a blast tonight. Hope you enjoyed all the tunes. And that's going to do it for tonight. But we're going to close the show tonight with this record on the Ava record label. It was a Gus Gossard played this one quite a bit on his oldies show, and the group is out of Tulare. I think I said it right, Tulare, California. I played their debut 45, must have been a couple months ago, on the Northridge label. It was called For You from 1962. They followed it up with this record, and which was first, though this record was first recorded by Chavez and Cheney. It was called Be My Love on the Spry label in 1960. I don't know if I have that. I don't think I do. But that was the first way this record came out. But this version came out in December of 63 on Fred Astaire's Ava label. This one charted number 24 on WEEP out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, the high falsetto voice you hear in the background is Syl Grigsby. He is the high falsetto voice, but this group is called the Charades. It's from December 63. It's called Please Be My Love Tonight. Well, that's going to do it, folks. And that's the closer for tonight. So thank you so much for tuning in tonight on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Raven, his Relics and Rarities. It all begins at 9 p.m., 9 to midnight, right here on Top Shelf Oldies for Relics and Rarities. And all the shows during the week here on Top Shelf, all beginning at 8 p.m. here on your Top Shelf Oldies dial. And that's going to do it, folks. Thanks again, Charlene, for all your help. Had a busy week at work, but I'll be back next Saturday starting at 10 p.m. You can watch me here in the YouTube chat room, or you can go to the Top Shelf Oldies chat room, or you can visit the YouTube site anytime. Tell your friends about it. I need more likes. I need more likes and more subscribers is what I do. Anyway, so tell your friends. I would appreciate that. That's going to do it, folks. And I'll see you here next Saturday right here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Just want to say, everybody, so long.
Please be my love. Yo!
on, this is so bad. Please come back, baby. Johnny G is back. So Fred, the original of this, I should have said it, but it was getting late. It's got to say Anthony Music Corp. Anthony Music Corp under there versus, let's see, it's blurry there. Let's see when it goes. Oh man. There, Anthony Music Corp. It's the other presses say let me see what Kreider has it. He says the other one says produced by Tony Hilder under the center there. That's all it has. I didn't have that one. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the show, folks. I enjoyed playing it. Almost played all the records. I had a lot of records. I had 51 records pulled. I played all of them except 1, 2, 3, 4. I have enough for 3 hours worth of music anyway. But I lost 75 pounds with the doctor. I'm going to be on the weight loss just 2 more weeks. This coming week and next week. Then I'll be on regular food. Hopefully I'll be able to manage everything. But feeling great, and hope you all are doing well. Have a safe and happy week, and I will see you here next Saturday starting at 10 p.m., 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies. So everybody, thanks so much for sticking around and for tuning into the show. I appreciate it. All you guys that hang around and all your requests too. Really, I do. So long, everybody. Thanks again, Charlene. Good night, all.